It kind of chose me. I mean, they approached me, and that's sort of the way it works, I guess, with your first animation. And it was what, 2.5, 3 years ago, and the penguins really appealed. To be honest, that's what I wanted to be a part of. I thought they were sort of richly comic material from the Madagascar films, and this agent classified character sounded kind of intriguing, a sort of spoof Bond character. And I thought it would be fun. And I've got friends who have children. One of whom is my godson, who are going to be just about the right age now that it's 3 years later to enjoy the film. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I've never done this kind of work before, so I wanted to see if it was enjoyable. He's he's basically someone who takes himself incredibly seriously, as he should, because he's the head of the North Wind, which is this elite task force that looks after animal welfare around the world. Wherever animals may need welfare, they are there. And they've got the cracking motto: "No one breaks the North Wind," or "No one breaks the wind" is actually what we like to abbreviate it. And I don't know. I just thought the fantastic kind of metaphor in the film is that he's all organized, slick professionalism, but through clashing heads with his polar opposite, pun intended, penguin alter ego Skipper. He learns that you have to be a little bit penguin in life. You have to sometimes just run at a problem rather than trying to solve it with high-tech wizardry and lots of planning and being a chic poser, which is what he's kind of discovered to be at many points. And comic vulnerabilities in amongst him being quite cool. I just thought there's a lot of comic potential to mine, and yeah, they didn't let me hold back, which is great. I mean, that was part of the development. Was just a sort of suave English delivery, and there are one or two moments. You see, I haven't seen the whole thing yet, so I don't know. But there was a moment of seduction. There is definitely gadgetry. There's a lot of action, and he's quite adept at what he does. He's commanding, but then he can also be a complete nutter pillock as well. So that kind of is the counter-ethical, counterintuitive version of Bond, which I find quite funny. I mean, that's what drew me to them as a potential thing for me to first get involved with a voiceover for animation, was their characters. I just think it's a brilliant, Dad's Army is, as you know, but it's a very popular old British comedy, and there is an element of that. You've got Captain Mannering in somewhere in there with Skipper, and don't panic, Mr. Mannering. You've got Junior and Skipper. It's not Skipper, Rico and I just think Rico rather, and I think I can recognise the types, but yet they seem completely unique as well, and a brilliant voice as well by Mr. McGrath. So that kind of slightly John Wayne thing, it's sort of dependent on that, and I instantly find that funny, his voice. I just love Skipper's voice. So they're very endearing, and you get a great deal in this film, I think, of them. That you wouldn't necessarily expect. There's a great origin story. There's a fantastic cameo of a very serious filmmaker in that origin story, which for anyone who's seen his film about the North Pole is a scream. I don't know if I can mention it without spoiling it, but yeah, I won't. I'll let the audience get to that. But there's a great deal of sophistication as well as good slapstick. There's great kind of capers that will appeal to the kids, and they are accidental heroes. They're very lovable, very cute, accidental heroes, and yet there's a human element to both them and Northwind, which I thought was really fun to play with on a more serious note. No, I don't know. I don't even know what John who Malkowitz. What does he look like? No, it's very crazy to think that I've just done a gig with John Malkovich, and not only did we not meet, but he's playing an evil octopus, and I'm playing a mock heroic wolf. That's just not the way I pictured it, but there we go. But yeah, no, that was the one sort of downside, really. I mean, I love getting ideas off other actors. You hear their performances often. If there's a little bit of animation that's complete, so you can get in the mood for that scene or the one that's either side of it that you're recording. But I had great actors read in with me, so I wasn't completely blind. But that was just people in a room, and they changed every session. And yeah, it's odd. It's odd not having that collaboration. I wish there'd been a moment where we were all sort of in a semicircle and goading each other on to out funny, but never happened on this, sadly. They promised me it would, and it never did. Hard, yeah, hard, really hard. And it's also, that's the weird disjoint when you watch the film. It's, you know, I always get self-conscious about what I look like in a film or sound like, but less so if I'm a character very far removed from who I am. Then I just worry about the performance, and that's equally, you know, an odd experience to be in your own audience watching yourself. But with this, it is very much my voice modulated a little bit to be a bit more Dalton-esque or Bond-esque at places, and a bit more pompous than I hopefully normally am. And Christ, yeah, just nothing like the way I look. You know, this wolf with this, you know, lots of raised eyebrows going on. I can't raise my eyebrows. Maybe I did a couple of times when we were recording, because they do film you, so you do get the idea the artists have tried to take something of what you do live in the room into the piece, but then, you know, it's so extrapolated. It's pretty nonsensical for some of the scenarios, obviously. So it's a very disjointed experience. You feel, oh God, that's my voice, that's what I sound like, and then at the same time going, I don't look like that. I wouldn't, but my face would have moved differently. It's very weird. It's like dubbing another actor's performance, or you know. A sort of hangdog expression, sort of, you know, he's like, oh, you know, he must feel awful, you know, when he's left. They've left Private in the evil Dr. Octavius Brine's sub, and he talks about the implicit survivor's guilt that must involve with Skipper, and he's teasing him, going, and then I do see my face in that moment. And some of the raised eyebrows with a cup of tea moments. There's a lot of him wandering around, you know, all this high octane adventure, and you always cut away. You always cut away. So I love this character trope. You kind of cut away to him, and he's having fine biscotti with a really good cappuccino or espresso, and there's a little pause. There's always one pinky that's up. Not that I do that in real life, but I definitely did that in the session to try to influence the animation. And I could see my expression. Oh, it's a really good coffee. It's wonderful. Oh, penguins, yes, you know.